Dad, I can do it myself. Maybe you've heard something similar from one of your kids, regardless of what their age is. I, I want to tell you a story about me and my daughter playing golf. My daughter is actually a pretty good young golfer. She's 26 years old, and she is in the profession of selling golf resort packages. That's how she makes her living these days. And she got interested in golf, much to my surprise, when she was in the 10th grade. I was in the backyard chipping some golf balls, just enjoying the weather and practicing my short game. And my daughter has always been a competition cheerleader. She's ever since I can remember, from the earliest Pee Wee leagues, she was on the cheerleading squad of those little Pee Wee leagues. And that went from gymnastics class, or went into gymnastics class, into becoming a competition cheerleader, which is one of the most dangerous sports, if not the most dangerous sports in the world. I've seen a lot of girls get hurt very badly. And my daughter was one of the flyers, one of those that they fling up in the air. And I watched her sail through the air, and I watched her get hurt a couple of times. But because of that training and gymnastics and competition cheerleading, she became made of rubber, which means she was extremely flexible. And so I was in the backyard practicing some chipping, and she came walking out, and she said, "Dad, I think I want to go out for the golf team for my junior year." I said, "Well, Kara, yeah, I'm not one to ever step on your hopes or your dreams, but the only problem with that is you've never held a golf club in your hands." "You've never swung a golf club in your life." She says, "Yeah, I know, but how hard can it be?" I said, "Well, it tends to be one of the most difficult sports in the world. But again, let's jump in the car and we'll go to the driving range and we'll see what you can do." So we did. We jumped in the car. We got over to the driving range. I bought a bucket of balls and took her out to a practice tee, and I teed her up a ball and gave her my driver, which was a man's driver, obviously. And I said, "I'm not going to tell you anything. I just want you to hit the golf ball." And so she lined up perfectly, like she had been playing her whole life, which was surprising to me. And then she just reared back, coiled up, all that elasticity, and she whipped that club around and smashed a drive right out through down the middle, just as far as you would think that a little 95-pound 10th grade girl could possibly hit it and beyond. She carried it at least 220 yards in the air. And then when it landed, it rolled another 20, 30 yards. So you might as well say it was about a 250-yard first-time effort. And I said, "Well, that's just beginner's luck. That can happen." I said, "Well, teed up another one." And she smashed it way out there. Now, this time she pushed it to the right, and it wasn't as good of a shot. And that tended to be her problem from that point forward. She never needed much coaching as far as swinging the club and correctly, and proper stance, proper grip, or all of that. Her problem was she had a tendency to push it to the right, and she's always struggled with that. But she did make the golf team. And as a matter of fact, she became the leading scorer her 11th and 12th grade years, which something I was very surprised at and very proud of at the same time. So anyway, she fell in love with golf, couldn't play golf in college. She wanted to get a golf scholarship, but she ended up having to have 2 surgeries on her knees, a meniscus disc. And even though I felt like she could continue to play, she felt like continuing to play golf would continue to weaken her knees. So she didn't play on the team for Georgia Southern. She went to Georgia Southern. This is a shirt she got me while she was there. And she just didn't play. But after she graduated, she picked the game up, and she decided that she wanted to be in the golf industry as a profession. And she took a job working for a company that sells golf vacation, golf resort packages. And she has literally traveled all over the world visiting these resorts, and playing golf with some of the best players in the world. So, and she called me not long ago and said, Dad, I got to get some better clubs. These clubs you bought me 12 years ago or whatever it was, however long ago it was. She said, I need some new clubs. So recently I helped her get another set of clubs. I actually took her and had her fitted. And so we were playing golf on Father's Day, this past Father's Day. It's the first time we'd played together in probably 5 or 6 years. And we got out there and she was just, again, bombing it way out the middle, you know, out driving me by 20, 30 yards because I'm an old man, you know. I couldn't hit the ball anywhere near close to what she could. And then her second shot into the green was great. So was mine. We both have pretty decent games. But Kara's problem, my daughter's problem, is that she's never wanted to take the time to practice putting or chipping. So when we would get on the green or around the green, she couldn't chip it up to the hole. And I would start talking to her and I'd say, Kara, let me give you a couple of tips. I can see clearly what you're doing. And this is when she said, Dad, I can figure it out myself. I said, okay. And I left her alone and she would take her several times to chip it up onto the green, and then she would putt it, and she can't putt either. And I just kept telling her, I said, Kara, you're really good, but what you need to do is practice your short game. And she's never been willing to do that. Anyway, at the end of the round, I had beat her by, I don't know, 10, 12 strokes because I do have a reasonable short game. And she wouldn't let me help her. And as we were walking off, I just said to her, I said, Kara, if you would have let me help you, you probably could have won. She said, Dad, again, I understand, but I'm 26. And some things I just want to work out for myself. And, you know, that was a lesson to me as an old baby boomer. You know, sometimes your kids just need to figure things out for themselves. We parents, our desire is to always want to teach them, help them, get them going, no matter what their age. But I have learned that there are times that we have to kind of take our hands off and just let them do whatever it is they need to do their way, learn in their time and in their way. So maybe a value lesson for us, maybe a lesson you already know, but sometimes you just got to let your kids work things out for themselves and be available if they call on you, but don't necessarily be running up to them saying, I've got the answer, I've got the answer. Maybe you just need to let them work it out for themselves. Thanks for watching. Oh, and by the way, if you enjoy these videos, want to help me out a little bit as I get into my retirement years, you can always buy me a cup of coffee. I'd appreciate it. The link is in the description below. Have a great and wonderful day.